There it goes.
There
Hello,
it goes.
everyone, and welcome to the Ubuntu Touch Q&A, episode 39, streamed live on October 27th, 2018. This is the UBports Foundation show discussing the development of Ubuntu Touch and our community's questions. We have a packed list of questions this week, and let's see. Oh, there we go. Hangouts on Air is being great. Joining me this week is Florian.
Hello.
Hello, Florian. And
there,
Florian
there's
has a lot to...
There's a second window with my picture, so it's not two of me, it's just one. In case somebody's asking.
I think we do need a second Florian, though. How do we clone you?
I'm not sure. I have to look this up in docs.ubiports.com. Probably it's...
Yeah, that's a good idea. We probably have cloning documentation there. I don't know. Yeah. I guess I don't look at it that much. That's a lie. I should post the thing as we're live. Here we go.
Yes. So I'm really excited this week because I can talk a lot. Since we're not so many people today, I can take up almost all the time, and Dalton will just give me some ping pong message. No, we will share this. We will share this partially. So then we start on the top of the list with the Telegram hackathon in Vienna. So we made a little bit the noise about this before. Last week on the weekend, there were 2 days, actually 1.5, if you deduct the journeys and preparations and so. 1.5 days where we sat together in Vienna. We means some nice guys from Southern Germany, Northern Germany actually, or Middle Germany somewhere. I don't really know the geography.
Germany.
And then Martin joined us from Slovakia, and also from Budapest comes Nikit. He is also in the porting channel a lot, and he came there for just 1 day with the bus, not bothering to travel 2 times 3 hours from Budapest to Vienna to participate. So what we have done before this weekend, we gathered together interested people with the following idea: if we would sit together, maybe we can speed up the development of the new Telegram app for Ubuntu Touch. And the new Telegram app for Ubuntu Touch more or less became an idea in the last months, because we saw on the old app there are many problems, and we cannot really refactor or recode this in a really reasonable way. It would take too much effort. And the second thing, also very important, that from the Telegram side, the protocol is a little bit changing in the next 1 or 2 years, and they suggested to us to switch to the new protocol as soon as possible. And they're providing now a complete library for accessing Telegram servers easily. And so we said, okay, on this weekend, we want to kick this off. We want to see how far we can go. There was already a proof of concept by Dan Chapman, and it was really in a good style. We could use this code and just started to inflate it with all the functions that are necessary to go forward. So we made a little bit of team building also on this weekend, and I can see that all these people that came, they were very excited, very positive and motivated. We had even also the maintainer for Signal app there, Aaron, also living in Vienna. We had Christian there, who is the guy from Fluffy Chat. He was also participating in hacking on Telegram, despite he has already Fluffy Chat on his shoulders, but they are really super motivated. So what I want to say is that it was a really good success, and I want to show it off a little bit. This is the reason for the second Florian window here. So we're trying something new today. We will try to actually cast the screen of the phone with the app into the live stream so that everybody can see that this is really working in more or less already some proof of concept way or alpha version. It's not beta, I must say, because we are still lacking functions that are really necessary. And we have a few glitches and layout bugs, of course. So you have to be a little bit patient. But it's in a state that I'm daring to show it without being, let's say, too much laughed at or too much smiled, frowned upon, whatever. So let me try to prepare this here in the background while
Yeah.
I'm talking a little bit.
So while you do get that set up,
Yes.
Christian, you were talking about, Krill, has released the first stable version of Fluffy Chat. So we've got our Telegram news and we've got our Matrix news today. The first stable version of Fluffy Chat is in the open store for 1604. And we have our very own push gateway for Matrix notifications now as well. Is that correct? He's busy. I shouldn't talk to him too much.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. Sorry, I was looking on I was thinking why I'm muted, but it's the other Florian. Working with two windows is not so easy at the moment. So no, the push gateway is released, and all the Matrix notifications are now going through the UBports push gateway. So it's now on our servers. It's a little bit more stable probably, and it's a little bit faster. So yeah, we are happy about this. It's on the same machine actually, so all the push messages go through one physical or virtual machine in this case only, and it's much more efficient. So yes, and he prepared the push client for it, and we worked together getting this forward, and we are really happy that we have achieved this as well. So I have to press one final button to share my screen or not. Am I already there? Basically yes.
Oh, yeah, right.
Can everybody see this?
I need to present this. There we go. There.
So wonderful. Now, please bear with me. This might crash from time to time because this is the ADP connection only, not the network connection. So what you can see here is actually the live demo from my Fairphone test machine device. So, for example, when I go here in the supergroup, you will be able to see actually.
I'll send a message.
Yeah, and there it's gone already. You're sending a message, and I'm losing the stream here. Come on, guys. This is a little bit tricky, but so
this is running through a mirror screencast over the USB connection
on this machine here with the cable. Yeah.
There we go.
So you see, there is the test message, and here you can see that the message window is not looking exactly like we want to have it. There's a lot of white space around, but actually you can send and receive messages. Okay, we don't have pictures and so on, but I must say, for one weekend of hacking, we brought it to a really nice state. You can register an account. You can enter the password if it's password protected with the cloud password. We got a little menu up there where you can say, okay, there is a nice about page where we put future features in. We got a settings page prepared already here. And everything is much faster and more fluent. You can go to the news channel, for example. There is still, okay, the Mr. NA. It's Wayne. Hello, Wayne. You're NA at the moment. So there are a few small glitches still. But the base is rock solid, and it will not have any reconnections issues anymore. You don't have to close the app. It doesn't crash. You will reconnect if you're in Wi-Fi, if you're in network, doesn't matter. So I'm really excited about this. And yeah, it's just, I could spend my whole free time now in adding new features. Every day there's a little progress. There's a new merge request. Actually, this is completely hosted on GitLab. So for the moment, because we said we want, I think we can switch back to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. We want also to test out what GitLab can do for developers. We did not move this to GitHub at the moment. We just have it there, and yeah, it works quite well. And also that on GitLab we can test their CI for building the app. So we can steal a little bit of CPU time from GitLab that is used to build a click package for the Telegram app. Good. That's roughly what happened. I could also talk about this event much more and in detail, but I think it's a little bit getting into too much detail now. We still have some pictures. I will maybe post something on Twitter or on the forum. And a big thanks for all the participants. And this will happen again. So from the community, the strong indication is hackathons are fun, people are coming to these events and they want to have more. So I must say the best thing is about it that the community really starts working together, and not just because we are asking or we don't pay anything for this. This event was with self-paid travel costs, with self-paid overnight. Okay, there was an invitation for a dinner. This was okay, yeah, because this was our thanks to them. But other than that, this is nothing that the people get paid for. They're doing this just by their own. Yeah. It's really was a huge success, and I'm very happy with that.
Well, that is great. I can't wait to see more out of this Telegram app, especially since our community at the moment is still built on Telegram, and everyone who's in Matrix is just starting to yell at me now.
Yeah, forgive me for that. I got somehow intrigued by Telegram from the start. There wasn't even UBports at the moment, so really much, and I must say there's no competition in this way that what is the better messenger, what is the better protocol. But for sure, we want to carry this Telegram app to a state where we say, okay, it's functional and not that much laggy and strange as it is now. That's the main motivation. If then somebody is using it or not, that's just your personal decision. But I want to have a stable app. Yeah. That's my primary goal. Okay. So keep your eyes open for eventually dropping beta click on, I don't know, some groups. Maybe it starts in the dev group, in the app dev group. Maybe it starts or it finishes in the super group. We will see. We made no plan now, but there should be a beta version for everyone to test. Okay, that's me with my hackathon.
Yes. It sounds like it was a really good time. So thank you for putting that on and helping organize it all and everything.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. We got
if anyone into this. Ever wants to schedule an event like that, you certainly can. Just get it together in our forum, find a few people who are in your area. It seems like it's a little easier to do that in Germany and Austria, but who knows?
Well, maybe not. I don't know. But the most important thing is make a noise about it. Try to contact us. We can put this on our social media or on the news channels. We have a good marketing team now that is really waiting for news to be broadcasted. So if you have an idea, you want to find people, best idea would be probably on the forum to get people interested, and then organize an event already 3 or 4 people. It doesn't need to be huge. Yeah? Sit together, do something meaningful, and then talk about it.
And the super group
says, hello, Rodney. Yeah,
it's easier to do in the
good train. Yeah, he's maybe right to a certain degree. But some people came by car, some people came by plane. Anyway, yeah, there was also train usage. And actually also bus. We used everything except bicycle and walking. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, cheap. Rodney, you should take a look in our price list for the public transport. It's not always that cheap. The overnight ones where you have to stand or you cannot lie down, they are cheap. Yeah. If you want to have a sleeping car, then it gets already very expensive. Okay, never mind. But anyway, this Telegram stuff is not limited. We also want to have pushing forward with Matrix, as we say it. So now we built as a relationship between Fluffy Chat from Christian and Aaron for Signal and so on. And I think this is just the platform for messengers, I would call it. Yeah. So there are people interested in messengers, and they want to build them for the phone and get independent of other stuff that is on, let's say, only on Android or so. No, we also want to have the Signal app in a better shape, of course, even if the user base is maybe not that big. But of course, cooperation with Signal is not as good as with the Telegram guys, to be honest. This is one of the main factors. We might get this done better when we have more, let's say, more recognition by being officially, I don't want to talk about we are waiting to be a foundation, but it's one of these items that's on the list. And we hope that when we get a better recognition and we are officially, legally a thing, then we also can get them interested again.
For sure. Yeah. And not to leave Matrix out,
No.
We'll go back to that Fluffy Chat release. So there's a lot of good stuff in this release, including integration with Content Hub, so you can share things to and from Fluffy Chat, URL, so you can send links to people and it'll actually open things in the app. Stickers, and more stickers directly from the changelog that comes from. Animations to the chat lists, the normal bug fixes and performance improvements, as always. And I believe it has support for registering on the UBports UBports chat server, UBports.chat matrix server, hosted by an external entity. So this is looking like a really good release. I'm thinking this might be one of the best Matrix clients out there. So
Yeah.
you can quote me on that.
Mhm.
But yeah, in seriousness, sometimes it doesn't handle really, really big rooms or really, really big chats that well, but it can do great things for most people. And it's a really good app, and I like it way more than Riot. So that's my review.
Perfect. I think Christian will be very pleased to hear that. I will point him out on the Q&A in case he missed it or is not listening. I will send him
I think
this
he's
one.
listening.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, Christian.
So you can find Fluffy Chat on the Open Store. It is all one word, and I don't think I need to spell it. It also has its website at fluffy.chat. And Christian has his microblog, which is also linked on the Open Store.
And it's actually this week featured on the Open Store. This is a coincidence. We did not push it up. But if you look here, then you can see it's that symbol. You'll need to look for that cute. Well, it could be a cat. It could be, I don't know.
It could be a chat.
Yes, I think. Interesting wordplay, by the way. Okay, no, but look for this one. And it has a cute background also. Good.
Not a cute background as in QT, but actually cute.
No. That's true. It has a QT background. Okay, you're killing me on this.
Oh, I am. I know.
Okay.
You're the only one here, so you're the one who I get to rap on.
Okay, perfect.
In our next article of news this week, we have Beetle. Maybe that's how you pronounce it. He changes his username often, though.
He changes his username and his picture, I think, at least 2 times a week. So it's really hard. You always think, who's that new guy? And then you realize, oh, this one must be a similar username like last week. It must be him, yeah. And I think he's even from my area, but I'm not quite sure. I think he lives in Vienna too. I have to really get into touch with him, maybe. Yeah, so
he has announced the call for testing for Ubuntu Touch on the Sony Xperia X. Ta-da! So I think some people are going to be rather excited about that one. So he's got his post in our forum on this. Let me paste this into live chat. Dupe. And sign into chat. Maybe I'm not going to paste it on live chat. Things are broken in YouTube these days. Oops.
Actually, that means to stress it once more, this is a new community port for a device that was not supported before. And it's the first Sony device that we have. And
it's the first device with kernel 4.4.
Ooh.
That's gotten this far. So lots of things going into this guy. Unless the HTC 10 is also 4.4. I guess I haven't studied that too much. In his own words, he says that there's full AppArmor support, so Click should be working correctly. Adequate mirror performance. Not sure what that means. Ophono and RealD are running, so that would mean that you can get SMS and things like that, I believe. I don't believe Pulse Audio is working, so there's no audio yet, so calls might not be quite as fun. And the camera may or may not be working as well. But he does have a lot of things here. He has steps that you need to take to actually get it running on your device. It's not as easy as just click and install yet, but I think that if more people get involved with him and help him out with that, then we're going to have a great system on our hands here. So both that... sorry.
Oops.
Whoopsies.
I just was thinking you're confused because my second mini-me left now. And I was thinking maybe oh no, he disconnected. I'm still here.
So yeah, first Sony device. I don't know where I was going with that, but this is a really good thing. Anyone who wants to test, and especially people who maybe have some experience with Halium who have this device, he's really one to help out because he's got a drive here. And he's got something good going here, I think. So that's my little stand up there. We do hope that ports like this will be able to be picked up by us so that we can host them in on the community channel built independently from other devices. But that'll also require some of the things from the Edge channel, which these ports use, be brought into the regular image correctly. So
yeah,
it's all a process, but he's really helping us out with that. So I totally appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think still, if you look on the unread messages in Halium group, it's totally impressive how many people are working every day, exchanging ideas, trying to crack open those devices that seem to be not playing nice, trying and not giving up to get the board up and running. This is really a good sign. So from that point of view, it's just a matter of time until we get more and more devices supported.
For sure.
I'm really confident. Maybe we didn't, let's say, there was not so much visual or visible progress for the community on that, but behind the stages, I must say this is really going a good way. Yeah. And the whole idea of Halium was a really good one. So this is a wide stage for many developers that can identify themselves either with Plasma or with Ubuntu Touch or with I don't know, whatever comes our way, Sailfish and stuff. And they can really try and play around and get a lot of support from each other without hitting the barrier of, oh no, you're the other system, I cannot help you. When we really make it able to have a unified layer below, then we are widening our potential range of let's say, input or whatever to a really wide. Oh, too much wide in this sentence. Okay, I'm also lost now.
And Halium is one of those things that's on kind of a slow boil from all of our projects, but as it continues and as people like Beetle, that's what I'm going to call him now, continue to...
Beetle, yeah, that's good. That's good. We call you Beetle now. Never mind what your name changes. That's the one that will stick. Yeah.
I think that it's one of those things that will continue to grow. It's something that is, as people are working on it, getting so much better than when we started with UBP 5.1, the non-Halium one, and everything that we've had there. So thanks again to everyone who's working on that. Thank you especially to Beetle, especially for bringing this up and bringing it up for today so that we could talk about it here. So
that's true.
Anyone with an Xperia X, go and help him out. See what you can do with him and get that going real good.
Yeah.
I don't know where that ending came from, but I love it.
It's soon Halloween, you know. You're already in that mood.
Yeah, it's spooky time.
Yeah.
I hate Halloween.
Before it
saying
gets
that online is going to be mobbed. But yeah, no good.
Okay. Good. Before it gets too spooky, that more or less ends the news item section for today. Yeah, and that's actually halftime of the show, so it's fitting perfectly well for this huge amount of questions that comes our way.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely be compressing this question section a bit. So if we don't get to your question this week, be sure to ask it again for next time. Or if it's about a bug or something, normally we won't take those anyway. So just to let you know about that. But I think that we should take a chance, take a stretch, and thank all of our sponsors to UBports.
Yes.
You guys are all making this show possible. This show for one, but also all of our work on all of these devices. I think I can gather up all the ones that I have around here. All of these phones, as well as our CI infrastructure and everything possible. So thank you truly to our patrons, especially this week. We're thanking Draco Balke, Morgan McMillan and Thoralf San, who are of the level at Patreon, where we'll pick 3 random patrons to thank every time we do this. We'd also like to give a big thank you to our higher tier sponsors, including Smooze and Private Internet Access,
and Packet.net.
For making some of our infrastructure possible, as well as, hey, that was a tablet. Someone said, yes, this is a tablet, and it has a sticky note on the back of it. Oh, this is going great. You can head over to ubports.com/donate to learn more about donating to us. We've got links to LibrePay, Patreon, PayPal, and the all-important Bitcoin over there that you can click on to help us pay developers and get to places, and generally make an awesome operating system for you all. Thank you again, everyone who is supporting us.
Thank you.
Okay. Question time. Are you ready?
I'm ready as I am. I mean, this is so much questions that, okay, we'll just give it a shot. If we cannot answer something, we will find out, but let's go over this. We can do it. No, it's not that bad. There are a lot of really good questions inside. I can see already. So there's example, these 2 questions in one, more or less, from Stefano. He's asking, was the porting and building of Halium always so hard and hit or miss? Well, in my short way, I would say yes, but it means it was even harder before, maybe. On the other hand, yeah, the usual thing is, if you have a device that plays nice, if your device tree is more or less open and working, if you have a good CM or Lineage OS version for this phone, then it's easier. If not, it's harder. I mean, Dalton and me, I remember when we first met on the first channel here, which was completely... I
still have that history, by the way. I'm not deleting that channel because I need that history.
Yes, yes. I didn't look inside, but I mean, we also wanted to just make porting possible and started to play around and had a lot of questions. And
yeah, I joined here because I wanted to port to this guy, and it was just as hard then as it is now.
And actually, then I had, this is also interesting, I have this stuff here, and I will never finish this port for it because it's HTC, and it's actually HTC One X, and it's not really turning on this time.
I remember when that came out, and it was that phone.
This one was really impossible to port until now. Yes, it was always very hard, and what should I say? It's really not for impatient people, to be honest. You need to stay focused. Sometimes just put it away for some time, for some weeks. If it doesn't go on, try another patch, start over again. I deleted maybe 3 or 4 times. I deleted already the complete branch for this thingy here, which is actually a crack here. This is not because I became wild. It was not because I got it in a very broken state. This is Samsung S3, and now currently is no battery inside.
Right?
No, this is the normal S3. This was the mistake because this one is kernel 3.0. And as I found out, 3.0 is nearly impossible to use with our current Halium and stuff. And then, of course, this is S3 Neo. And it's working nicely. So it's just a matter of these 2 phones are really similar somehow, and they are not. So from the outside, you can never tell if this will be successful or not. From the specs, you also cannot tell. You really just have to dig into it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd say a lot of things are getting easier. We have great documentation for all of this made by some extremely smart community members in the Halium community who have just helped immensely with all of this. So all of the parts that are repetitive or can be documented are at this point. So the basic build process, getting it all running, even the errors that most people will be hitting during the build process are all documented at this point. So in that way, it's gotten a lot easier because now you can say, oh, I got this error. It says that sign apk.jar is missing. What do I do with this? And you can click down at the bottom of the page. Oh, okay, this is how I fix that. Whereas when I started this, oh God, we're going to sound like old men. I'm only 20. It was guys, I got this error, sign APK jar is missing. And then I waited a day and Florian said, oh, well, you can do this and this to fix it. Welcome to the rabbit hole, by the way.
Yeah, the rabbit hole runs very deep. And 90% of the first answers was try to delete it or try to remove it, comment it out. It doesn't matter. Bring it out of the way. Yeah, we don't know why, but maybe it helps.
In the end, no, it did not help. But
no, that's true. That's true.
So to answer your question, as we begun, yes, it always was this hit or miss, and we've it's been getting better, and it always will get better. But it's as long as we're depending on all this Android stuff and Hybris and all of that, we will have this problem. So and every phone is a little different.
Yeah, every phone is a little different. And even if you look now at OnePlus One, here it goes, just to show off another phone. There are two versions of the OnePlus One. The one that has the identification beacon, that's the old ones, and the new one is A001, or is it 3001? You can easily see this from ADP and so on. Mm-hmm. And they are completely different, completely similar, except for a few things that now, after this long time of support, seem to have issues on this or that way. We don't really know. For example, mine doesn't have the right MAC address in Wi-Fi. It's always a default address, and it's the same for all the people that have this one. So if two people have the same phone, they cannot change the same. You cannot join the same Wi-Fi because it just has the same MAC address.
That's not good.
I have the N5 that sometimes at booting has an offset in the screen. Nobody could reproduce it except one or two other guys. Even the same phone has different hardware versions, and it's not always clear what we are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Anyway, we are waiting for the phones that will be open, and we'll have an open source driver base. So we are still hoping that these projects come forward. More to that.
Yeah. To answer the second part of your question, how did Canonical build and install these images? About the same way. Canonical had their own release process and everything, of course, but they did about the same thing in the beginning of their ports. They got Hybris running and trial and error until it worked. The difference is that they had at least 2 people at all time who were hired full-time to work on the project, or just the porting and not the UI or anything above that. And these 2 are extremely smart people. I still know them, and very smart people, very intelligent. The only ones I want working on that full time. But now we have a lot of other things to do. So the reason Canonical could do it so quickly and so completely was that they had the time and the man hours into it.
And there were, I'm always forgetting if it was 100 or 200 people in the end, but it was more than 100 for sure that were working full-time for this project around the globe. And this is really a workforce that brings things much faster forward than, of course, we can do at the moment. Better organized, better synchronized, But anyway, this should not be any excuse for things, because we have our strengths in other ways. And I think this is the interesting part, because we are not a company. The community has, let's say, much greater identification with the product. If people just working for money and they're doing something, they might not even be really convinced that it's good. But everyone who is contributing here seems to be really convinced that this is a good thing, and this I like about the community. Yeah. So volunteering is always something like you do it for your beliefs, let's say. Yeah. Don't get too much into philosophy. Okay. If you want to have any details about the build process, which we cannot do now here, you might ask in a forum or approach us somewhere on Telegram. There is maybe even some documentation somewhere lying around for this already, how the image build server works and so on. But and basically, it's still an upstream code base from 1604 in that case for ARM-HF that is just enriched with a few things, and then is the low-level booting for the hardware support with the Android container. Mm-hmm. It's not that much if you know what to do.
Yeah, that is correct. I wouldn't say that it's a general suggestion, though.
Okay. So,
Seamus in the supergroup says, I'm trying to multitask between the Q&A and the Flash TV series. As long as you don't call me Barry, I think we'll get through this.
oh, geez. So, the next one
Next.
from
Yeah.
Gage. Is it Gage or Gorge or what's that?
I think it's Gage.
Okay. The UBports installer makes it easy to flash your device, and Clickable makes it easy to bootstrap and build a new app. What additional ways can we lower what additional ways can we lower the barrier to entry for development of Ubuntu Touch?
These aren't strong, bad emails. We don't need to critique people on their grammar. So one time I tried to make a poll on this about what is making people, what's keeping people from developing Ubuntu Touch or helping us out with it, and people got really upset. So I kind of pulled off on that for another time. So what I see as the big things that are blocking people, and of course, contact me, say how I'm wrong here. This is a good place to get in touch for that. I think one of the largest things is having cross-builder working properly. So it's easier for people to build their software, make their changes on their desktop, build their software, and have it automatically go onto their phone. I think that's one big one, because the development process isn't terribly intuitive, and cross-building is really a pain if you have to do it manually.
That's true.
Especially on Debian, I found. So sorry, Debian, you guys are doing great, but cross-building is just hard for everyone. The next one I see is like instructions for how to troubleshoot cross-builder when it doesn't actually work. And then next up on that list would be documentation on how things actually work. So a lot of, we see this a lot in the Android community in general, and I don't know what's up with it, but there's a lot of, I don't know what the idiom is, but knowledge that only a few people have and don't divulge of how this stuff actually works. And I mean, we ran into that a lot when we were just getting started. How does the camera work in Ubuntu Touch? What stages does it go through to actually show you a picture of the camera?
Yeah, and why it works on one device or two devices in the same way on a third device with similar chipset, it's completely different or something like this. It's just a made-up example. But there is almost zero documentation from already from Google, I would say. There is a lot of things just not documented well.
Well, yeah, and of course, us trying to put it through Hybris causes its own problems. But yeah, I mean, so I only have, I should say, a general idea of how these things work. The camera goes into the camera service on Android, and from there we hook into it using Qubuntu Camera, and from there it shows on as a service through Mir. And like, some of that might even be wrong. So I'm actually trying to learn how to do that, especially with our issues we have on the Nexus 5 camera. Yeah, I see the time. So a lot of it is just documenting the stuff that we're missing. The first time that you do something, write down how you did it so that it's easier to for others who come after you to do it. Really, the best time to document something is the first time you do it. And that's why it's so important for us when people are coming through Halium and they fix an issue for us to ask them to write down how they did it. Because that's just going to help out everyone else. So first thing is cross-builder. Second thing is documentation. Those could flip around as much as you want. They could be one and the same. Who knows? And then the last one that I think, this is the obvious one to most people, but is having more devices that people can use. So having people be able to install on their Xperia X or their HTC 10 or whatever it may be that the Halium community is porting is what I think a lot of people are waiting for. Or if they're not, then we're completely wrong, and that would be okay too. But having more potential users also increases our potential for one of them being a developer who wants to help us. And we would rather encourage the developers rather than all users, but in either way, that's our Cliff Notes, what we see as the big barriers to development on Ubuntu Touch right now. So if you want to help with that, the most important thing I'd say that you can do is the first time that you do something, build an app or add something to your CMake lists for your app or whatever it may be, write it down and put it in, even if you just put it in the forum and ping me so I can convert it to a tutorial for the documentation, even that would be super helpful. Just having it written down for us. So that's my spiel there. Okay.
Yeah, it's nice. I'm completely with you. Okay, let's move on. There is still a lot on the list.
We're going to be cutting this one.
Yeah, okay, I can continue. From an unpronounceable name, how is the Anbox development coming along? Yeah, the Anbox.
Yeah, this one is interesting. So the reason why we pushed a lot to get Anbox out was because people were saying that they wanted to develop on it. People wanted to make Anbox better, but they couldn't because it didn't exist for the phones at all yet. So our release of Anbox that you can find in the forum and install using those instructions now is very much a developer preview. Please don't touch this if you need to use your phone every day type build.
Yeah, that's really a disclaimer that maybe we should have mentioned it in a better way. But if you install it on your daily driver, I mean, it's more or less the text was as it was. And I can understand that many people are really, really excited and wanted to try this out. And even they said, okay, I take the chance and install it on my daily driver. Only unfortunately to find out, and then there are small issues or even bigger issues. Most of them depleting battery, rebooting, stuff like this can happen. So it's really a developer thing at the moment. Unfortunately, not ready for daily use. Let's say like this.
Yeah. Yes. And we would love for people to help us out with getting Anbox to a state where it is ready for others. But at the moment, we are triaging our time between the browser and other features of Ubuntu Touch as well. So
yeah,
we would love anyone's help who can provide it on that.
Good. Okay. Next one. From Terra and many others, are there plans to support the PinePhone?
This one has been big this week. So there was a small, you can't really call it a leak because of the way that Pine64 does their business, which I was really surprised with. And someone talked about it at the KDE booth at, I forget what event was happening this weekend. It's kind of blown up from there. One thing that I did see that was interesting is the first article that came out mentioned that dev kits are being shipped to specific developers starting on November 1st. And then all of the other articles that came from there said developer kits will be released on their website for purchase on November 1st. And everyone was, this is a huge chain of quotes going back to the original article. I just thought that was funny. In case that didn't make it obvious enough, we are talking with Pine64 about this project. They came into our super group I don't remember what day it was anymore, but yeah, it wasn't that long ago. And immediately, started talking about, we want to make a phone. We want to offer developer kits to people who, to the core developers of UBports, Ubuntu Touch. We have accepted that. So we have said, yes, we'll have the dev kits. We'll see how Ubuntu Touch gets on them. And we plan to do a lot of experiments on this. And we don't have any concrete plans yet about the devices, how they'll ship, when they'll ship, things like that. So some of our, I must say, most talented volunteer developers, and you know who you are because you're in the group with us, are getting these developer kits and will be helping us look at this. Let's see. Any further news about this is going to be a push and not a pull. So asking more questions on this for like this show won't be effective. I'm just going to say now. I'm not saying that we want to be tight-lipped about it. As things happen, we will be talking about them. But for now, we don't have concrete plans on how this is all going to work. We're just experimenting with the developer kits and seeing how it gets on. So I hope that makes sense to everyone. But there was another question that this kind of hooks into that I wanted to bring up here, and that's what's going on with like the Raspberry Pi and virtual machine images. Any development that we would do on a system like this, which would have an upstream Linux kernel and a standard LTE driver and things like that, would be helpful for Raspberry Pi images, Librem 5, any other phones that come out in this vein, phones or devices or boards or whatever it may be. So
maybe just to explain, these free phones that don't have Android layer below, they can boot almost normally into the operating system because the drivers for the flash are there and so on, and the hardware support would be in the kernel. But the other thing is, then we don't need Halium, but we need something else to bring up the device in the right way. So it's still not that it's just booting like on a PC. There is no BIOS. There is nothing like on an ordinary Linux. So we need a maybe only thin layer. It's similar to Halium, but it will be not Halium with all these things that we do for bringing up the Android container and so on. And this needs to be developed, and this also needs time. That's the reason why we just cannot say, okay, we just ignore Halium, we go straight into, and there is the operating system. It will not be that easy.
Yep. And it all has to do with what other developers are interested in doing too, because devoting all of our paid developer time to this project would be irresponsible to the rest of our community, and we know that. So we're not, I want to make it clear that that's not what's going on here. As people are interested, a majority of these kits are going out to volunteer developers in the community. So, and that's how Pine64 works, is they take developer feedback on their kits and their boards and everything before they release them, ship out developer kits, and have people help them bring software to their devices. So that's their model, basically.
And basically, I just looked up on their website. Their current schedule for them is the design is not finished until second quarter 2019. So
they have this all up on. You mean the Pine64 website?
Yes, they just mentioned this here. Well, actually, it's on Frostbites. I don't know, but they quote probably. Yeah. So second quarter 2019, design finished means there is still a lot of room to go and for things to change. So everybody can be a little bit excited about things moving. Now we saw Purism moving in with this idea. Now others picking this up. Yes, you can be a little bit excited, but please don't expect that the phones are just ready to ship in a few months. This is unfortunately not how hardware design and development is working with mobile phones and chipsets these days.
Yep. The big hurdle here is going to be that a lot of the Ubuntu Touch stuff depends on Hybris right now. So including like the boot up process and things depend on an Android container being there. It can be switched. It won't be 100% easy to do, and it will take time. But this is time that I think a lot of developers are willing to invest. So there's our statement. If you have questions, just be sure to ask, and we'll see if we can clear up anything. Whew. Take a breather. Take a breath. That was a big one. Yes. We are finishing up here. So anyone whose questions we don't take, of course, we would love if you would ask them again, as I said before. So just so you know, we aren't ignoring you. We're just running out of time here. Yeah. Up next, we have the question, what is the status of the Librem image? So, the Librem image at the moment, we don't have anything officially. We're still waiting on the developer devices from Purism so that we can kind of bring that all together, make everything nice. We do have a few questions from Lpunkt in our forum, so let's get those started.
Yeah, because you asked so many questions, we will answer them double speed, because then it's fair. Yeah? So don't monopolize our answering skills. How can someone with mediocre coding skills and 2 to 3 hours time a week help this project the best? I would say reporting and triaging bugs is the one thing that is really needing attention now. We have a lot of
triage.
Triaging means to find out if a bug is valid, if it's reproducible, if it's a duplicate or not, and then finally saying, okay, I can confirm this bug is existing or not. If you look at the bug tracker, there are so many tickets inside, and we are piling up a little bit now because the project is running for over 1 year. And a lot of things are inside, and it's now much easier to file a duplicate, because in the beginning, when there were maybe only, I don't know, 80 or so or 100, we had more or less a feeling if this was reported already or not. But to be honest, also the core team, we cannot look at all the bugs coming and going. So it's now very easy that the bug slips through as a duplicate. And we don't want to have duplicates. This is the first and most important thing. Not having duplicates, because otherwise somebody starts working on this or that, maybe in parallel, and so on. And so I think for the moment, community Q&A would be the best thing to help us out. If you have a device...
QA, not Q&A. Just
Sorry,
to be clear.
QA. Yes, that's true. Community Q&A would be fun. We are asking questions to the community. Okay. So help us with validating all the open bugs, and many things are unlabeled or are waiting for confirmation and so on. We really need our help there. That would be good. Even with 2 to 3 hours a week, you can perfectly do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you have...
Unlike Launchpad, GitHub doesn't let you just apply labels and do things willy-nilly to bugs. So you will have to ping one of us saying your report, this bug is valid, this bug is on these devices, things like that. So just, at one of the people in the project, and we can do that for you.
Okay, where to start when you want to go into app development? Wikis, tutorials, documentations, development kits? Okay, development kits, unfortunately, no. Not at the moment. It's maybe a great idea, but yeah.
So right now you can go into docs.ubports.com, our documentation site, and there's an app development section that people have been working really hard to revamp. So right now, there are some stubs in there for different app development tutorials, unfortunately. But if you know how to do any of them and want to help out, that would be awesome. So I'd say get started at docs.ubports.com. Get a hold of us in either Matrix or Telegram, and we can point you to the right places.
Yeah. The next one I like. How high of a priority is it buying cameras, microphones, light rigs, green screens for the Q&As?
Okay, so that's this show. And as you can see, we don't have a very high quality backdrop or anything. I can just go straight to the wall. Actually, it's farther back than I thought.
I will fall into my books if I turn around. This is really my room. This is not a green screen with a static image of somebody's other room, or maybe stock art. No, we are not that professional. However, I have a rather good mic now. So my priority is already finished, because except for my non-focusing camera, but you don't want to see me sharp anyway, the most important thing for the Q&A is a good sound quality. I think this is the point. And we improved this already. So I think we got new microphones now and then. Marius got a new headphone 1 year ago. So this was really a good investment. Other than that, I think it's not a high priority. You don't really want us to waste donation money for having a green screen where we have some nice animation in the back. I think this is not a show where we have to show off our professional video skills. You want us to show off our professional UBport skills. That's much better.
To make it very clear, we're always trying to improve this show. However, I don't think that spending money on that kind of thing, or going through the hassle of, especially for me, this room is kind of difficult to deal with. Trying to set that up every week would be a pain and take time away from the things that we really love to do on the project.
True.
And I don't know if that's what our community would want us to be spending money on. So, in terms of that, I think I would rather take this show audio only before I spent a lot of money on proper video.
Yeah.
To say that video is a lot easier, audio is a lot easier to edit, for one. So, if we were to take this to the next level, I don't think video would be the way that we would do it.
And one of the problems is also that we are in different locations. We are spanning now from US to Europe, from Norway to the south. It's really hard with latency and with all the stuff to make a real good video show with all this equipment if you're not in the same stage or in the same area. So I think this is also something that we are using now. YouTube for streaming. We would have to get another streaming service maybe, and this all gets much more complicated. And we like it to keep it simple, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Good.
Well, I think we are running about out of time, especially if you
ask your other questions and then again next time. L. I'm sorry, we have to stop here, but we will maybe take another 2. On my watch, we have still 2 minutes left.
Yeah,
we can take a few of the other ones here.
Last 2 minutes, I need to say something.
Okay, good. So we cut it off here?
Yeah. Marius did post in our forum about a personal road blocker. So you've probably noticed he's not here today. If you've been around long enough, you've heard that his grandpa has had some personal health issues, and that's taking a bit of it's taking his time and it's taking some things out of him. So today he's off caring for him, and we're happy for that, because among all the things that we know about the open source community and everything that we do, real life is more important than what we're doing here. So to anyone out there who's listening, please, before you help us out with Ubuntu Touch, take care of yourself first. I think that's where I want to go with that. Take care of yourself, take care of your family. We'll always be here, or at least we'll be here.
That's true. The cloud will be here 24/7. The documents will be here. There is no reason to rush anything, because nothing can be as much as important as personal and private situation, because that's what actually makes you up for a happy life. So, and I also know this since the birth of my child. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
for sure.
Really something that changes.
That puts some things into perspective.
And I'm really thankful for comments that people give me, like, "Oh wow, how you manage to do all this stuff besides that you have a family, and besides that I have a job and so on." But to be honest, it's not so noticeable with myself. But I also had to a little bit reduce here or there my time that I spent for the project, and had to rearrange it a little bit. So, for example, I'm not so much, as I said before, into triaging bugs anymore. This is just something that I cannot do at the moment. I tried. For me, it's also personally, the Telegram app hackathon was an idea to get more people hooked up with it, to have more time off from this project, because it was just relying on me and a few volunteers. But now when you build a community for this app, it's much easier with the free time to schedule what you're going to do. And I feel a lot better when there are other people knowing how this app works, because then it's not just on me. This is the second advice, maybe. If you have a lot of things in your life, try to find people to help you. And that's what communities are.
Easier said than done.
Yes, easier said. And you have sometimes to let go and say, okay, another person will do it in the same quality, in the same way as I could do it, because I just think I can trust this guy, or not. Yeah, you have to find the right people for that, to be honest.
Yeah. I think, not to detract too much from this, I think we should all get a /thanks Marius going over in the supergroup. Yes. So I'm going to start that off. Everyone click this link. We're going to have a blue text spam for a while. Let's do this.
That's normally not allowed, but now it is.
It is, because I said so and I'm the admin. All right.
Oh, come on, guys. Where's the thanks Marius storm?
I'm sure, though, they're getting over there. So.
Oh, everybody's now 2 minutes behind, or what's the delay? Okay, never mind.
I don't know. YouTube has been really weird lately. So who knows how far they're behind.
So as we said before, priorities are priorities. These questions that we didn't answer, we can answer next time, hopefully. But we also wanted to have our messages out today. And thank you for the attention out there. And thanks, Dalton, for making this show really great and entertaining.
And thank you for being here for us every couple of weeks and talking with us and everything that you do in the community.
Sure.
And especially thanks to Marius. All right, there it goes. The slash thanks, Marius.
It starts.
There.
Let's shower it on him. Rain it down.
So thank you, everyone, for watching this episode of the Ubuntu Touch Q&A, episode 39. It has been a blast to be with you all. Nice, quiet, tight show today. Well, tight, I don't know about that, but tight group of people. The show keeps going, of course. You can find us all the time at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google+, Mastodon, Diaspora, Matrix, and Telegram. And all of those links are down in the video description. We'll also have our blog post up with the notes from this section in a few days. Yeah, point down there.
Like the pros do.
Yeah. If you like this video, you can always give it a thumbs up. I think that's how they say it. Like the video. Subscribe to UBports for notifications, maybe if YouTube is working right, on when this happens every couple of weeks. You can find us in our forum if you want to ask questions. And as always, we'll see you all in the next one.
Yeah, see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.